All right, everybody, today I have something super exciting to tell you about. I've actually known about this for months now, but we're finally going to share it with you guys. And it is new AI agents that are built directly into Motion. Now, I've had a chance to play with some of these, but I thought the best way to introduce them to you was to bring on the head of product over at Motion, Louis Carrasco. You may remember he was on the show previously. This guy is just, well, you're sitting right here in front of me. I should say, dude, what you have done and what your team has done in such a short period of time is frankly amazing, and I want to jump right into it. So today we're going to talk about kind of three different things. We're going to show you three different use cases for it because there's so many use cases we couldn't possibly show them all to you. We're going to talk about triaging. We're going to talk about not the key decision maker, but the meeting reviewer.
Meeting
What is this?
coach.
What's the second one? What is it called?
We're going to talk about meeting coach.
Meeting coach, yeah. The meeting
Meeting
coach is the
coach.
one, I don't know the name of it, but I use it all the time. So incredibly useful, especially if you're on sales calls or anything like that. And then we're going to get into the AI chat that is powered inside of Motion and is connected to all of your information. So I guess kick things off however you want to, Lewis, and we'll go ahead and throw your screen up and we can get to it.
Yeah, so thanks for having me again. Yeah, I'm very excited about this new feature. Well, not even feature, set of features. So now the way I like to think about it is Motion is like your business in a box, but it's built with AI from the ground up. So like imagine like if you're Microsoft and you're starting today, how would you build a productivity, a business suite from the ground up? And so that's what Motion is. And I'm gonna just talk to you through some of these new scenarios that are possible because of this agentic nature of a business suite. Let's walk through really quick what it is that we've introduced. And so the first thing you'll see here is this AI employees tab.
Mm-hmm.
And we've shipped with a few AI employees in here. And each of them has a set of capabilities to help you out. As one would say, each employee has a particular set of skills. And those skills are there to help you run your business, right?
And
Like
this is just to make it easy for new users to come in and immediately start building or start using some of the AI agents that you've predefined.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. So, if you have some sales use cases, you would go to Chip. As you can see, I'm the head of product. I don't have any sales use cases. But if you are into sales, you click here, add new skills, and you would see a set of skills that we have predefined for you, or you create a new skill from scratch. And we'll go over how that looks like in a second.
Okay.
Right? So you have your sales person, you have your customer support person, your recruiter, project manager, researcher, marketing. And each of these come with a set of skills pre-canned. But think of them as, just like you have your workspaces, and we think of workspaces as a place where like a sub-team on your company does work. Same thing with the AI employees. They have a particular set of skills, and you should like think about it in that way.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's what we've shipped. The second thing we've shipped here is this chat or ask AI. And so this is basically a way for you to pull on the information together and through AI interact with the system and all the system knows and all the system can do. So it's like the one of the primary ways now to interact with Motion.
And so,
Yeah.
with the chat, let's talk about the chat more, because one of the things I find most intriguing about this is anytime you're trying to build, and we talked about this the last time that you were on the show, the importance of having data in a control of the data in the system so the AI can easily access it. And most companies, small mid-sized companies, are using some combination of Google, of Airtable, of maybe they're using something else for their email, their document loading. And one of the things that I find really appealing about this is once you're inside of Motion's ecosystem, that agent has access to anything that's in the system, that's in the workspaces that you're working on. So if you want to find data on what employees are doing, on who's the most productive, if you want to find meeting notes on what's on the last sales call meetings, if you want to go and review all of your sales, all the sales associates at your company, and review the meeting notes and any recommendations that the AI is making, you can do that all inside of there because all the documents are in there and all the information is there.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is by far my one of my favorite features we've ever done. Again, the way it works is we've done a lot of work in the background on how we store and how we think about data to make this incredibly smart, incredibly smart. So I'll give you one use case, right? We meet with our users all the time. Last time we covered the scenario where, we automatically schedule the user interviews. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have our note taker in them. And that means the information is known by Motion. So if I do, last Wednesday, there's a lot of user interviews now that I can't be in, right? But I want to know what happened. And so I can just say something like, hey, summarize the user interviews for this week. And it knows what I'm talking about. It knows what I need, right? How does it know what I need? It knows who I am, right? It knows I'm the head of product. It knows what I care about. It knows in which style it should write to me, right? And so it immediately gives me all the information I need in 45 seconds, right? So it just high value. I don't have to go and watch all the user interviews and whatever. I can see somebody talked about Gantt chart. Let me go to this particular user interview, right? And I have the video right here and I can just watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
So it links back to all the documents, all the video recordings and anything that is, because it's all locked up inside of one system.
That's right. Yeah. And it's incredibly smart. I can ask, hey, based on that, right? On all these meetings that I had, tell me how users felt about Copilot, right? Mm-hmm. And I even misspelled it here. But in 20 seconds, it's hey, here's what they thought about Copilot. And I'm like, okay, yeah, give me a little bit more information. How does it compare with Claude and GPT, right?
Yeah.
And it can provide that for me, right? And from here, I can tell it to hey, go and create a report for me, and it'll create that document for me.
Yeah.
Another use case that we've seen from this is I could tell it, hey, go and create a project for me to do blah, blah, blah based on this chat and based on this document. And it has all the context to be able to do that. And so it's just incredibly smart and incredibly useful. And it's just one of my favorite features, just to interact with all your data that you have in Motion.
And I think that, again, if you are an owner, if you are the head of a specific division inside the company, and you're just trying to not just for your own sake, but for just in doing reviews of what's happening inside the company, of getting those snapshots, of being able to quickly access documents or other data, that's a game changer. I mean, you get a transparency inside of your business that you wouldn't otherwise have. And I know when it comes to things let's take a look. Can we take a look at the meeting notes and the suggestions it gives you? Because that's something that I use every single time I have a meeting, whether it's with a current client, whether it's a sales call. Literally every time that meeting is over, within a minute, in many cases, I have a full report, and it's
the
powerful.
meeting notes is pretty interesting, right? Because when you think about creating context for your organization, a lot of the context happens when you write a document, you write a spec or whatever. But a huge part happens in a meeting, right? You have a meeting, you talk about stuff, and what happens usually with that context is it gets lost. Right? Mm-hmm. You could have a note taker, everybody does a note taker. We have a note taker, right? It takes notes and whatever. But then the notes get forgotten and that context disappears, right? And so that's what we don't let happen. If you see Motion and you're trying to figure out hey, what decisions got made about this thing? Mm-hmm. Motion knows, right? And it knows even if you weren't in the meeting, right? Even if you didn't document that decision because the Motion note taker was there. Right. Yeah. So this concept of having full context of things is incredibly powerful.
Do you have an example of what that looks like? I mean, I have one on my computer I can probably dig up from a recent meeting I was at.
Let's take a look here. For example, if I go to my meeting notes tab, and for example, this is a meeting I didn't attend for a backlog sake, right? What are we going to do for mobile? Yeah. So if I go right in here, you'll see that I have my recording. I have who attended. I have my meeting summary. I have some action items. Mm-hmm. And I have some notes, right? But I also have the transcript. So I have the full transcript right here that I can click into. And this full transcript, Motion's AI is aware of it.
Yeah.
And so if I ask a question here of based on the planning meeting today, what's the mobile pod working on, right? That's all I need to say. Like, I don't need to I just ask it. It's like having like the smartest assistant in the world being omnipresent, and it just knows, right? And so it's telling us what it's doing, and let's give it a few seconds here. Okay, so now that it's done, you see that Motion found the backlog sync that happened yesterday, right? Like literally knew what the latest meeting was. And it tells us exactly what happened in that meeting, right? And here's the notes, right? Here's the notes, the transcript, everything's right here. It even knows like, hey, what was today's focus? Like what recently got merged? It even gave me information that I might not have asked for, but that's incredibly useful, right? Based on my question, right? What's the mobile pod working on? That was my question.
That's really generic too. Based on the planning meeting today, which what's not the name of the planning meeting? What's the mobile pod working on?
That's right.
You could probably do something even more like what were the key takeaways from that meeting, and it'll summarize all of that for you. The other thing that's really cool about Motion that most people already know about, but inside of these meeting recaps that you get done, you can actually assign tasks to people on the team, and sometimes it'll even auto-assign those tasks. If it knows it, as long as the people who are in the meeting are working on the project, and it knows that it's supposed to assign it that way. So in terms of a time saver and really giving you some, again, I keep saying transparency in the business. If you've ever run a business of more than a handful of people, sometimes it's hard to know what's going on, especially when you're not in every meeting and you're not in charge of everything that's going on anymore. And having something like that is really powerful. Can we go back and take a look at the agents themselves again? I think one of the things I wanted to look at was just some more examples of like how easy it is to set up those meeting notes and everything inside using one agent.
Yeah. So let's take a look at one example. So one of our most popular agents and skills is Alfred's meeting coach. So Alfred's meeting coach is called the exec meeting coach. What does it do? So the exec meeting coach, after every meeting, it gives me a report of how successful that meeting was. So let's take an example. This has gone viral internally, and it's gone viral with our customers.
This is what I use this fun. every meeting too, every single one of them.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the output from one of these meeting coaches. So earlier today, I had the product and design weekly meeting. Right? And after the meeting, I felt like I didn't do a great job, but sometimes you wishful thinking, this went really great. Alfred does not care. Alfred is as objective as he can be. Alfred was like, dude, that meeting was only 65% effective. Your goal was this, but you didn't. You didn't achieve your goal because of these things, right? It gives me the speaking time. So one of the things that actually I was really bad at, and still am, was interrupting people. The worst, right? And I didn't even know. Like, if you had asked me earlier this year, do we interrupt people? I would be like, no, I never interrupt anybody. Every meeting, I was like, 6 out of 6 interruptions, me, right? And so it's like really good at identifying, your areas of like, where could you be better, depending on your role too, right? Because as I told you, Motion knows who I am. How does it know that? I'll show you really quick. How does it know that? So in settings, there's a knowledge tab here. And so here you can tell it. We can tell it who you are, you can tell it like a few tidbits for it to always know how to interact with you. So anyway, back here, based on who I am, it like knows what I should be better at, right? So speaking time, interruptions, communication quality, clarity, friendliness, decisiveness, listening. You can see here that I just didn't do a great job in this meeting, right? I have noticed over time though that
I'm much better.
Oh my God, dude, my meetings when this whole thing, like when I started using it, it was like in the 30% all the time. I feel like now I'm averaging between 70 and 80%, which is pretty good. I've seen a couple 90%, but it's hard to get, right? Because and again, like Motion's like really helping you like run your business very efficiently, right?
Like you said, like business in a box. How do we create a turnkey business solution that incorporates all the latest technology and works, right? That works really effectively. Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's take a look at putting this together. Yeah.
Yeah. If you scroll down, I think it even gives you suggestions on what you can do to improve, or is that mine always gives me here's what you can do.
So
right
improve the siziness by turning ambiguity into action. And it gives you like the examples, the exact examples of when you didn't do it, right? So there was a point where I said, it's a little fuzzy. We need to figure that out. Like, why would I go into a meeting and I present something and be like, no, it's fuzzy, right? Like, that's just not a good meeting. Right.
Yeah.
So that's it's pretty good. And so let's take a look at putting one of these together. So again, this is built on the whole skills platform, the whole AI employee platform, and so you can create stuff like this very, very easily. So to show you that, let's go look at this skill. So if I go look at the AI skill, again, you can put this together very easily. Now I want you to imagine how this would look like in like an N8N or Zapier. Like, how would you even start to put something like this together? Well, in Motion, it's very easy. This whole platform is agentic. So what does that mean? First thing, here's my trigger. I have a trigger when a meeting node is created, right? And as soon as that ends, as soon as that triggers, I get the whole output of the meeting node. Then I literally just tell it, go and analyze it. Here's my template, right? Here's my template. Go analyze the meeting and create a report based on this template. That's all I did, right? Using this variable, right? Using the variable from the previous block. I didn't have to figure out what I need, variables I need to pass. I didn't have to clean up my data. I didn't have to do any of that. I just pass it, figure it out. Then I have a condition here. I don't want a report for all the meetings. I only want to report, if I spoke, tell me. If not, what are you going to coach me about? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if my name is mentioned under speaking time and I spoke more than 5% of the meeting, send me a notification. Otherwise, just don't do anything. This is crazy that I can put together a skill of this caliber in just a few minutes by describing it.
Yeah.
Right? How should you think about creating a skill in a platform like Motion? The analogy I like to give people is, I usually like to ask people, do you have a sibling? Right? And people usually say, yeah, I have a sibling. And then I ask them, what does your sibling do? Right? What's their job? And it's usually a completely different job. Like, for example, my sister, she's a Pilates instructor. Right? And then I ask him, okay, imagine your sibling does something completely different. But you would agree your sibling's pretty smart, right? Well, yeah, of course, smart. Okay. Now imagine you write a document for them, a Word document, whatever. You write a Word document with instructions of what to do, right? If I told my sister, hey, sister, I'm going to give you a transcript when a meeting ends, right? Sister, I'm going to give you a transcript when a meeting ends. I want you to read that transcript and write a report like this, right? Use these instructions. Just follow this. Don't even think too much. Just follow this. These are my instructions. Follow this. Write a report for me. And then if I spoke more than 5%, send me a notification. She'll be able to do it. Of course she'll be able to do it, right? If I ask my sister, hey, sister, can you build a new nanoparticle? Or if I ask her, hey, write a, new website for, she probably won't be able to do it because she doesn't have enough context.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe if I explained it enough, she would be able to do it. But for a lot of these things where you just need an executive assistant, where you need a chief of staff, where you need a junior employee, I'll show you a few examples of junior employee kind of stuff. That's how you think about it. If you hire somebody new with no context and you gave it instructions, could they do it? Yes. Okay. Give it the same instructions in this platform.
Yeah.
And the platform will be able to do it.
Also, think about just from a build perspective. Now, I know a lot of people who are, they want, and the great thing about this is that I know for a fact that you can do this, you don't actually have to write out or build any of this. You can just click a button inside of Alfred and it'll automatically do this for you because that's the way I did it. But let's take it conceptually. What if you were going to try and build this in another workflow? Well, first you got to record the meeting, so you got to get the meeting notes, and you got to upload the transcript. You probably got to extract the data, the information from the transcript, plug it into an AI, have the AI assess it, and then pump you out some version of this. the steps are complicated. You've got to connect it to all the different applications. And because this is all internal, you don't have to do any of that.
Exactly. It's just incredibly easy. Let's. I want to show you an example here. I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. So,
Okay.
one of the things that used to take a lot of my time was triaging bugs. So, how does a bug in motion get created? Somebody posts something into a Slack channel. We react with an emoji, and then it automatically gets created, right? And it gets put into a motion task with some fields, some specific fields. And every day I would just have to go in there and look at all the bugs and make decisions, and then like figure out who the product person was for the bug, who the engineering manager was for that bug, figure out what severities for the bug, which project to put it in. Jesus, it's like 30 minutes per day of my time. And so I was like, I can write instructions for this. Very easy. And so I did. And so I have here Millie, my project manager. And I actually did this in N8N before I did it in Motion, right? So I'm going to show you which one do you want to see first? You want to see the N8N version first?
Let's see the N8N version first. Yeah, because I think this is where things start to get interesting.
Let's take a look at the N8N version of my triager N8N. So I have this workflow here called auto triage.
Nice.
Look at this monstrosity.
I'd probably get a lot of clicks on YouTube.
Okay, so get tasks through triage, right? Okay, I have to get the task. It's a HTTP call, no big deal, normal. However, this is something that it's incredibly annoying to me in every platform. When you go and get data, you always have to clean the data, right? So I had to write 30 lines of code here just to clean the data, right? You don't have to do that in Motion. Motion's fully agentic, it figures it out. So you have to clean the data, right? Then, okay, I have this Slack step, right? Why do I have this Slack step? Because at the end of the flow, I want to go and send a message to Slack. But this seemed to me at the time like the best place to go and get the channel info for Slack. So what is this about? This actually reads from the tasks, from each task, right? It reads from each task, which, remember I told you the bug gets created in a Slack channel. So the Slack channel info is in the task body, right? So I had to go extract it. And then when I extracted the channel info, I need to parse the URL to get the channel ID so I can then post it later. So I have to do this task by task, which is just insanely stupid. Anyway, then I merge the data, right? Which again, you have to do this for N8N, otherwise the subsequent steps are gonna run many, many times and you wanna do one call instead of 20 calls, right?
Yeah.
And so you merge the data, you aggregate it, and then you classify the task, right? Then you update the title. Then I have to write this step of tasks I actually don't care about. And so I had to write another 45 lines of code just to do something as simple as just if the task is in the past, don't do it. Or if the task is of bad severity, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? Where that could just be like a one sentence thing that I could filter the task. Then this is going to happen to you guys depending on which API you're using. Admittedly, Motion doesn't have the best API, but neither does anyone, right? And so I have to do one request to update the task title, then one request to update the workspace, then one request to update the custom field, one request to update another custom field, one request to update a custom field, one request to update a custom field. If there is a project, right, that I found that is active, then I update the project. Then I have to aggregate all this, write some code to prettify the message that I want to send, right? And then finally send the message to Slack. This thing, oh my God, took me like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, super complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Super complicated. And honestly, worth it because it saves me 30 minutes a day. But let's take a look at Motion, right? So here's my daily triager. Let's open it up. Immediately, there's not that many blocks, right? So immediately, again, let's run through this. And why is this agentic, right? So every day at 7 a.m., search Motion tasks. This is all I had to say. Get all tasks, with status triage in the support triage workspace and return the full JSON.
What I love about that
shit.
is that it's just regular language. You don't have
just
to
regular
like
language.
you don't you just write it. Go and do this
Yep.
like you would an employee.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And it's just like the first time you use this, it's gonna feel weird because you're like, there's no way. Right?
Yeah,
no
it
way.
can't be that
right?
easy. Yeah.
It can't be that easy, but it is, right? Then I'm like, hey, if there's no task to triage, just send me a notification that there was nothing to triage today. I want to know that, right? So send me a notification.
Yeah.
If there's task to triage, here's how we triage. Again, remember when I told you about writing instructions as if it was for a human? This is what I did, right? Hey, you're a motion bug classifier. Here's your tasks, right? Here's the pod rules. Here's how you classify it into a pod. If this is the AI pod, these are the people. This is how you choose the AI pod, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a calendar, this is how you do it. Devices, this is how you do it, right? So imagine I'm talking to my sister. Hey, sister, like if you see a thing, if you see these things in there, this is who you give it to. Here's the manager, blah, 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 right? Okay. Severity, right? How to figure out what the severity of the task of the bug is? Well, just give it some instructions, right? Severity 1, this is what it means. There's no way for a user to accomplish their goal, right? That's it. That's all it means, right? And I just tell it.
So how did you said there's no way for the user to accomplish their goal? Like there's something broken that is
That's
preventing them from using using motion the way it was designed.
That's right. That's
Got
right.
it.
And so I just put that in the instructions. Like, try to imagine like doing this. It's just weird, right? But how does it know this? Again, this is working inside our system, right? Remember when I told you about the AI knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
right? It knows what motion does. It knows where customers are. It knows what we do, right? So it could make a pretty good decision based on what our product is because it knows what it is. It has the knowledge to do so. It can make a pretty good decision about what that means, right?
Got it.
I have a few more instructions here, and then I tell it to output this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't have to worry about the format. I don't have to worry about like, oh, the JSON is misclassified. Oh, it forgot a field. Don't care, right? Don't care. It's agentic, right?
That is really cool. Like I've been building so much in N8N that, output format, you can't just put ID, project name. You've got to write the JSON out and make sure that it's properly associated with wherever you're pulling it from 2 nodes back. And it's just way more complicated to have to do it that way.
So let's go through this, right? So every weekday at 7:30, retrieve the full JSON task with status triage in the support triage workspace. So Emotion quickly summarizes what the step is about, right? So you don't even have, Then classify and triage bugs by pod area, severity, and output, right? Then, what are we going to do? We're going to update motion task. So I have 3 updates here that I want to do. So let's go through each of them. The first one is it puts it into a project, right? Set the project ID for each classified task in the product engineering workspace. Let's open this up. For each task from the classify step, set the project ID to the corresponding value of project ID in this list entry. Use the product engineering workspace. Do not attempt to set any workspace. That's all I had to say. Figures it out. Why did I have to add this last sentence? Well, AI is not always perfect. And so, you test it out and you're like, it failed here. Let me add a clause, right? So, but it's as easy as that. Like you don't have to really debug. You're like, if something went wrong, let me tell it what it went wrong so I won't do it again.
Well, and still, when you consider the prompt engineering that has to be done for most agents, you're looking at, you have to define the steps and define the thinking and define all. I mean, you wrote 2 or 3 sentences there, and it automatically knows what it's supposed to do.
That's right. Yeah. So I update the project, then I update the title and the duration and stuff.
Yep.
And then I update all the custom fields, right? So set the backlog type to blah, set the pod custom field, the manager to blah. Yeah. So why did I break this down into 3? Because, right, like this could have just been one step. right?
Well,
But I broke it down to three. It's just easier to read for me.
it's yeah, and it's easier
Um,
to know if anything goes wrong where the problem
yeah,
was, that you don't have
yeah,
to guess at which step it was not performing correctly. So that just
yeah.
seems like really good prompting to me.
And the other thing that's important is let's look at this share little button. So this this skill is shared with the whole product and engineering team.
Hmm.
So anybody, I mean, imagine I die, like anybody can go and say like, oh, actually we have a new pod. Let me edit it, right? So it's like a living set of instructions. A lot of businesses have stuff like this, but written out in a document format,
Hmm.
right? And they give it to human employees. Imagine you doing the same thing but for an AI employee, and anybody in the company can go and edit the instructions because hey, a new process came through. Like, oh, we need to update this thing, right? So same thing here,
Well, more
right?
importantly, is the members of your team, I think, can go ahead because the workflow is fairly intuitive, and because you don't need any complex sort of prompting or coding that's got to be done.
Yeah,
Anybody in the team can build very specific agents for what they're doing and then share them across the entire company or across specific teams. That
that's right.
way, you create a solution and you can just hand it out to everybody, and now everybody's got access to the same stuff.
That's right. That's right. That's another, like, remember when at the beginning of the call when I was showing you all the different employees?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest reasons why we decided to do employees, right? Because you have a department like the sales department. It's run by Antonio, right?
Hmm.
He shares those skills with his sales team. So his sales team knows, oh, if I need to do a skill, I just go to Chip, and Chip knows
Yep.
how to do sales things. And so you kind of create an easier way for like these organizations to organize, all their automations and who has access to what and why. Just an easier mental model to think about, right? Like
Yeah.
sales things are Chip, project management things are Millie, right? And so I know not to go mess up with the Chip things, but Antonio knows not to go mess up with the Millie things. And so
Yeah.
it kind of works out really well.
Well, man, I like this thing. We're rolling this out incrementally, right? Like this is coming out in stages, or if well, let's just put it this way: if any of this intrigued you, guys are watching this, and any of this intrigued you, there's a link in the description where you can go and schedule a time to talk with somebody at the sales team at Motion, who will literally walk you through this and will talk to you about your own specific unique case use case, because I know that's something that comes up. Every company's different; they have different needs, and they can get you guys have built something that you can get very specific with. You can literally build anything agentically that can be built inside of this. And like I said, having all of the information inside of one, I guess a business in a box is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
The data you're getting back and the quality of the AI agents goes up 1,000%. So is there anything else you want to show us? I mean, that's a pretty good walkthrough of the general idea and concept and what you can do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely do reach out to our sales team. We have a full team of 4 deployed engineers to help you build from the simplest to the most complex scenarios. Um, it's no, it's I spent a lot of time building flows in N8N and Zapier, and it just got to the point where I was like, okay, the technology exists for this not to suck anymore. And so we built this from the ground up. Sure, there's still edge cases, right? And there's still a few things to, it's not perfect,
Yeah.
but oh my God, is it like so much better than what I've used before? So yeah, give it a try. If you're signing up for Motion in self-serve kind of plan, you will see that Alfred has a few skills like the meeting coach, email assistant. So the email assistant classifies your email, it drafts auto replies. You'll see the daily exec coach, which is just like the meeting coach, but it grades your day. Like, was my day effective? Did I do a good job today? Could I have done something better? And how does it do that? Well, it knows your tasks, it knows your meetings, it knows your transcripts, right? So it has a pretty good idea on how it can help you. And I would encourage you to like open these skills up and like look at how most of these were built by me. So look at how I'm prompting here, right? And figure out as you go through your days, like, if I had money to hire a new employee and I could give him a Word document with instructions, could they do the thing? The answer is yes. Automate it, guys.
Yep.
Automate it, right?
Yep.
Automate it and do like higher value stuff. Like that's what we're here for as humans now. Just do like incredibly high value stuff. Delegate some stuff to your AI employees, and just go from there, right? And I bet you like your business will grow. Right?
Dude, I like I said, I'm really excited about this. I've been playing around with it a little bit for the last couple of months on the development account, and there's actually there's stuff we can't even talk about yet that's coming that is going to improve the quality of everything that we talked about today even more. And this is very forward thinking the way that Motion's put it together, and so I'm glad we got a chance to sort of kind of give at least a cursory overview of what it was. But again, links in the description, everybody. Go check it out. Schedule a time to talk to somebody. Walk them through what you need done, and they got a whole development team that's ready to help you out. So with that said, don't forget to like and share and subscribe and tell everybody about this, and we'll see you in the next video.